What up, guys? It's Josiah here, and today we're reading JULIAN Secret Agent, Chapter 11. Let's begin. The light rail at the end of the train. I hung on to the counter, but I looked at the chief. We were wrong, I said. I guess you knew all along that we were wrong. Wrong about what? Demanded the wizard. It's a personal matter, said the chief. Just between me and the kids. He smiled and lowered his voice. I was 99% sure, he said to us. But it's my job to be 100% sure. He lowered his voice even more. No matter who the suspect is. Dad, said the wizard, you know these kids? These kids are strange. They act a little strange, said the chief. But it's only because they were working for me. I'm teaching them not to decide about anything until they get the facts. TJ, do you have any more of that barbecue? Coming up, said the wizard. We're going to move the kids' food over to the booth. She said, I want to sit with them. So we all moved our plates, and the chief ordered some sad apples and Russian wings and Chinese rice. While we waited, we told the chief about crumbles and baby goo-goo. My appetite started to come back. I thought I could finally eat. Then I looked up at a customer. A customer was coming through the door. I blinked. My stomach shriveled up. Hi, Dad, Huey and I said. Dad didn't even say hi back. I go by the hospital, he said. I go by to talk about a car part with a customer who had his appendix out. He asked if I had a son named Huey. I say yes. He says a boy named Huey was just in there with another boy, and they both look a lot like me, and they were with a girl. Then he says, too bad your wife is in the hospital, and I say, she isn't. Then I stop by the Sheepshead Lounge to look for a customer who owes me money, and the man says, your sons were just in here. Then I think, well, my sons are sure getting around and come into Kingsman to think it over. And here you are, having lunch with the chief of police. So naturally, I wonder what is going on. Dad looked at me. I cleared my throat. It seemed like there was going to be an awful lot to explain. Why don't you sit right down with us, Mr. Bates, said the chief. Order yourself some lunch. Dad pulled a chair up to the booth and sat on it, with both his legs out to the side, as if he were riding a horse. He didn't look calm. Don't worry, Mr. Bates, the chief said. Your boys and Gloria have been helping me on a case, so we brought them lunch. They are very fine children, all three of them, very smart and very alert. In fact, they saved a dying dog over at the hospital. They saved a boy from drowning. Really? Dad said. Tell your dad about it, said the chief. So I did. Dad wanted all the details, and he was really impressed. And while we talked, we had more sad apples and more barbecue and more of everything. It was a really great day. When we couldn't talk or eat anymore, we said goodbye to the wizard. The chief shook hands with us and hoped we would work together again sometime. On our way out, Dad pulled his arm, sprouted at us. So I decided it was safe to tell him a few things. You weren't hungry. You weren't angry that we went into a bar, I said. A bar isn't a place for kids, he said. But I can understand that you wanted to see it. It's no big deal. I don't think Gloria's folks will be mad at her either. He gave Gloria a little hug. Another thing, I said. You aren't mad we went too far. Too far? My dad said. What do you mean too far? You told me when I got my bike not to go out too far, and we went almost all over town. Oh, that, said my father. I guess I never finished explaining. I meant not along the 6-lane throughway, and not across the railroad tracks, and not under the big bridge where there are a lot of semi-trailers. That's what I mean. He looked up. So we can go to Tokyo, he said. Tokyo, Dad said. I realized it was no time to say hey. I stepped on Huey's foot. Hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. If you guys did, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.